All right, it's time for our first panel here on the technical track. Today, it will be a panel focused on AI, hosted by Nick Muldoon, a true AI passionate and a customer success manager at JH and a true chatterbox. Seriously, the guy never shuts up. I hope he lets his panelists say something. Please welcome the panelists.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for the round of applause. That was very generous. So today, I'm joined on the panel by Amber. Amber, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, everybody. I'm Amber. I'm the head of product management at Digital. I head up our amazing product team who really focus on building products that our customers love.
Awesome. I'm also joined by Rosie. Rosie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Thank you. I'm Rosie Bailey. I'm the CEO and co-founder at Nibble Technology. Nibble is a chatbot that negotiates a price, particularly useful in e-commerce for clearing excess stock, and in B2B where a trade negotiation is very normal.
Fantastic. And finally, but not
Hello
least,
everyone, I am Ali. I'm a computer science graduate, and my journey began right after the university when I joined RT Scare, where I am still proudly working as a Magento tech lead, and we are working on many fascinating AI projects.
Fantastic, guys. Thank you very much. Hopefully, you all appreciate this is a technical track. I'm definitely not technical. Purely soft skills. I apologize in advance. But the guys on stage, hopefully, more than make up for that. So just to do like a little bit of a temperature of the room, can I just ask, like, who's using AI at the minute? Could you just raise your hands if you use AI?
Raise your
Awesome.
hand.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic. Can anyone raise their hand if they've used more than OpenAI? So have you... Oh, keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. Fantastic. Has anyone used more than 2 LLMs? Awesome, 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 awesome. Fantastic. So today, the topic is really about how can we get started with artificial intelligence, if you haven't already. Now, it's great to see so many people, I'm sure you guys agree, raising their hands, not just, I've tried ChatGPT once, loads of people are using multiple LLMs, which is fantastic. But I'm going to come to you guys. Have you guys used more than one LLM?
Oh, I mean, ChatGPT is a bit of a favourite of everybody, isn't it? Not really.
Not really?
No, I'm got to get off stage, not qualified to be here.
No, not really. Not on
No?
a personal basis. No, I mean, we experimented with all the different LLMs for embedding into our technology.
Mm-hmm.
So from a tech point of view, yes. And funnily enough, we've tested it and we've found that for now, OpenAI as an API is more accurate for what we want to do.
Fantastic. And Ali, have you used more than
Yeah, we have used different LLMs, but according to the experience, I'm using OpenAI because it's more accurate, and our product is based on that APIs.
Awesome. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Guys, I just kind of want to experiment with the crowd a little bit. So I'm going to ask you guys to raise your hands, kind of cheer, not cheer, as we go through things. But Amber, if I can come to you first of all, would you mind just walking us through the idea of personalization with artificial intelligence? Because I know that's something we spoke about
Yes.
that you're quite passionate about.
Yeah, definitely. So Digital, if you don't know Digital, it's a customer experience and data platform. So we're all about helping our customers seamlessly connect with our platform, then create great insights, and then right channel, right time. So that's sort of how our platform works. And personalization is really, really important to marketers and e-commerce merchants. If it's not personalized these days, then why are you even bothering, really? So we as a company, we've been using AI for quite some time. Obviously, it's sort of been, I don't want to say it's a buzzword, it's a buzz thing, I guess, with ChatGPT. But we have been using our own AI models for quite a while. We have product recommendations. We've got predictive analytics. So I'll go into them a little bit. So from an e-merchant point of view, predictive analytics are really good because what they can do is they can tell you when somebody's about to buy something next. So that's really, really nice. If you know some people are going to buy in the next week or something like that, you can deliver a really highly personalized experience to them. If you know that they're looking like they're going to churn, you can do something about that. You can re-engage them. Maybe you send them a discount code, et cetera, et cetera. And then our product recommendations as well. Our customers love those. So that is all really about sort of using machine learning to understand what a current customer has bought in the past, what they're browsing at now, mixing that up with, what's their price point, what are other similar customers using, et cetera, and then you can tailor that really nice experience to them. And I think when we're talking about this sort of stuff, it's not just all about selling stuff to customers, because I think we all like a tailored experience ourselves. It's really nice to have sort of a personalised experience. I think when you're buying, I was just speaking to one of my colleagues earlier, and he was talking about one platform he was on where he bought shoes, and they suggested 4 different outfits that go with those shoes. And if you don't feel comfortable with being dressing, like if you don't feel that you're super fashionable or whatever that is, and that's being here, this is what you should wear. That's really easy. And AI is obviously about saving time. That's a big one for us. And I think that's a really nice use case for on both sides. It helps e-merchants sell the right thing, but it also really helps us as customers. We spend a whole heap of time trying to put together an outfit. It gets put together for us.
Fantastic. So I'm hearing upselling, I'm hearing cross-selling, I'm hearing like marketing managers need to get on this, CTOs need to get on this, and that is fantastic. Rosie, I'm going to come to you really quickly. So just on the personalization side of things, have you any thoughts or comments on that?
I think what's interesting about what you were talking about is personalization has driven out of the fact that over the last 20 years of e-commerce development, we've actually depersonalized the experience relative to what you had before, right? So you had a shop and you had a shop assistant and so everybody one size fits all. I think what we're seeing now is the shift from what I would call cohort-based personalization to one-to-one personalization. And I think that's what's really exciting about what you can do now. There still will be situations where you want to do cohort-based things. Like, let's say you said, give a discount code. It may well be that you don't want to make that too easy to achieve. And so you say, I'm not going to offer that unless they're in this cohort or this win-back cohort, right? But fundamentally, it's like having a top-notch call center agent available to somebody every time. It's like having your best customer service person available one-on-one. Mm-hmm. And I think that sense of empathy that is available today is the game change in what you can achieve from a personalization. So short answer, no cohorts, now one-to-one.
Fantastic. Ali, any thoughts on that? Anything you'd like to add?
I believe it's a fundamental requirement for any business to tailor their customer personal preferences. So if we look at this and anything happening in AI-driven personalization, like it's related to, it will increase the loyalty of the customers, and it will going to increase your sale.
Okay, fantastic. Good, very good points, guys. Thank you very much. Can I just ask the audience again, if you guys are using AI in any form of personalization, to raise your hand? Wow, good job. I did not expect to see that many. Congrats. I'm going to go to Rosie next. So whenever we caught up, you were kind of mentioning about some real-world use cases of AI in your business. Do you want to kind of take that up?
Sure. So the way we deliver a personalized solution is it's a chatbot that sits on your website and it sells at your discretion, right? So it pops up and in a situation that you. So we were talking to one of our clients who basically, honestly, loved the technology. It feels great. It's really fun to use. It's hugely engaging, but didn't necessarily know initially where to place it. And we were chatting about his business. He was quite new to the business, and he said he just walked in and he'd been to the warehouse and he had over £1 million in stock, and he just couldn't see how he was going to shift it. And he said he tried putting an outlet section on the website, but he found that once you got to 70% off, engagement dropped like a stone. Nobody cared anymore. This product looked like shit, and as a result, he could see a situation where he would need to be on sale for every week of the year for the next 52 weeks. And so we put Nibble on his website at much lower discounts. So he had a clearance section, he had a strike-through price, so everything was discounted by 10 or 15%, and then he used Nibble to negotiate a slightly bigger discount. And the net result is he cleared that excess stock without having to be deep discount on sale, so without the brand damage. But crucially, each one of those is an individual negotiation on an individual item. It was actually in the lighting sector, and I don't know if anyone else is in the lighting section, but the lighting sector, like shoes, very, very long tail of products, huge variance in those SKUs. And for different people, those different SKUs had different value. And we found that value and then therefore protected margin a lot. And I think this is a situation where, honestly, his best alternative was to sell that stock at a deep discount to a clearance operation, right? Like to somebody who would just trash it. And yet the alternative was a one-on-one conversation with every single one of his customers who each found like they'd found a unique bargain that they were extremely happy with, and they reconnected with the brand. But it's because we could take that tail of different items and find a single solution for each one. So the key difference to this, to how many of us use AI in our business, is this is fully automating the solution. This isn't AI to support the human. This is AI to take the whole process. And I think that's where the prize is. That's where I want people to walk out of this room going, where can I transform one of my processes to AI? Because that's where the big win is. Like, just making your humans more efficient will only get you so far.
And Rosie, what would you say to combat the kind of opinion that AI is replacing jobs? Because that sounds very much like hey, you can implement this tool and lean up your workforce.
I mean, does anyone here come from one of the economies which is highly dependent on call centers? I mean, there are certain economies out there in the Philippines and in India and in Pakistan where there's huge sections of the economy that are dependent on call centers for jobs. Do I think that massive companies will outsource to call centers to the same degree? I'm very sorry, but no, I don't think that. I think there will be losses in terms of some jobs. And I think up till now, people in development roles have been using it to power up, and your senior managers are not hiring so many people as they might have planned to a year ago. So where it may not cause mass job losses, I do think it's causing massive changes to the workforce. Sorry to be maybe like politically incorrect on that.
No, that's very good. Ali, have you any thoughts on that?
Yeah. E-commerce can be divided into 4 key areas, and it's like checkout, data analytics, marketing, and operations. E-commerce is not only about sale, it's about delivery as well. So operation area is the area which is often overlooked in the favor of customer-facing solutions. So we are at RD scale. Our clients were having challenges in collaborating frequently with the teams. In e-commerce roles, you can say product manager have to collaborate with inventory manager, and then they have to report to operational manager. So these things, because humans are prone to errors and misunderstanding, and it also depends on their personal traits. So to reduce the manual work and to reduce the burden from them, so the fulfillment team, to enable the fulfillment team to focus on strategic and productive activities, we created assistants for them, depending on each roles. So it's not only help them to know to collaborate frequently, it's like we are logging all their actions, whatever they are doing, and it's automatically getting updates from their personal assistant. Not only this, we are also giving some functionality, like you don't have to run commands, you don't have to go to admin side and create categories. It's like you will say, just create 10 categories under the default category, and it will make for you. So whatever the repetitive tasks they are doing, we have streamlined them. And basically the point here is to understand what is AI representing us today. It's like adding an extra A for assistantship. You can say artificial intelligent assistants. Before that, we were not able to interact with the system in our own language because hardware and algorithms were limited. But now with the advancement of hardwares and with the large language models, we are able to interact with the system in our own language. And now we don't have to learn the complex languages. I believe in future, maybe I am able to say, just create this website, and we're going to do that.
Yeah.
But for now, we need to understand that it's in assistantship level. So we have to think about where we can start by looking at the assistantship of the things and looking that way. it's like, for me, it's like the transition we have from command line user interface to graphical user interface. Now we are moving to another interface where we can interact with the system in our own language.
For sure. So what you're saying, or what I'm hearing, is that due to the power of, the increasing power of natural language processing, effectively we all have access to a assistant that can do a lot of heavy lifting for us and streamline the process for fulfillment teams and operations.
Yeah, in operational efficiency. The thing we have created for it will not only reduce the manual workload from the fulfillment team, and it will also eliminate and minimize the costly mistakes, and it will always enhance the overall performance of the operational efficiency.
Can I just ask everyone to pause for a second and just think in your own business? I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand or anything, but if you could just listen to what Ali said there and just think internally, is there anything you could be leveraging AI for in your current business to, streamline, to help your fulfillment teams? Just kind of take that on board for a little second, if that's okay. I'm going to zoom out though, while you all ponder that. Obviously, this is a practical talk, and we will kind of have closing. Hey, go try this. Don't worry, that's coming. But if we just zoom out and look at current affairs in AI, I'm quite keen to balance some kind of theory with what's going on at the minute. Amber, what's going on? What's going on in the space right now?
Well, the biggest thing, obviously, sort of in the last week is Apple Intelligence.
What did they do? What's that?
So yeah, there's a lot of, everyone, we were waiting to see what Apple did, and obviously they've announced now that they're partnering with OpenAI. Siri is getting a lot better. I mean, you could ask people to put their hands up and ask who uses Siri. Anybody? My husband does actually randomly, but yes, so he's one person. But Siri is going to get a lot better. And what I thought was really interesting as well, I think Apple have done it really nicely, because I think when I was watching the ad about it, they also said, you'll be able to type to Siri. Yep. And that's lots of people, Apple are really good at recognizing, those barriers to entry, sort of, my friend's going to be funny, those barriers to entry, because people like me, I don't want to walk along the street and talk to my AI assistant. My husband does. That's fine. Different people. And so, now you can type to it. So I think Apple have approached it in a really, really nice way, where they're really anticipating what we need. They're seeing the barriers. They're seeing what we don't want to do. Because a lot of AI, it's sort of created for the sake of it being created, and it's sort of, it's not actually thinking about how we want to use it. And I think Apple's done that really nicely. Another thing I liked, really, in some ways quite simple, just being able to create your own emoji, just saying, can I have this kind of emoji? And that's creative. And, people, we sort of talk about maybe, we don't want AI to take away the creativity and stuff. That's really fun. And that's something like what Rosie was talking about. It's stuff we couldn't have otherwise done. And that's what your business is doing. It's not possible to do that without AI. And, it's the same. Nobody's going to be, well, again, some people do create their own emojis on Slack and stuff, but, just being able to do that really easily, I think, is really nice. So I think, it'd be really interesting to see sort of what happens going forward with Apple there. But it's really clever. It's anticipating needs. And so that's sort of one of the biggest things at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I think what's really interesting, so Rosie, we had, just to bring you in this conversation as well, we had a real good talk. And the thing that you suggested is that a lot of people are either completely screwing around with AI, and it's like, hey, let's just throw a shot up, let's see if it lands. But you're under the belief that many people are waiting for big corporations like Apple to bring AI to them. So do you want to elaborate on that point and maybe chime in on Apple Intelligence?
So I think most of us in the room are waiting for our big providers to put an assistant next to us. So Microsoft, Adobe, Slack, I don't know what you guys use. And I think actually for many businesses that's quite a wise move. Why create your own when actually what you can be provided with by your massive provider, and your massive provider has probably done the work to make it as reliable as possible. The only thing to be aware of is they are scraping your data, including Adobe.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so anyone notice? We had a bit of a scramble internally. We use Slack a lot, and we're pitching all the time to enterprise-level clients, and they are asking us security questions like, where is the data going? And so, we've signed our opt-out on Slack to make sure our data isn't going to Slack, for example, and it is in the small print of all of these things, and all of your data is going to some big corporation so they can give you the perfect tool going forward. Just make sure you make those decisions with an open thought process, I think is.
So my non-technical question to that statement is that how AI gets better? Or are you hindering the personalization experience?
I think, look, pretty much everyone in the room is using OpenAI to draft their emails.
Evidently. Yeah.
And honestly, like it's probably not a personal occurrence of it, and it's doing pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you want to have competitive advantage, you keep your data to yourself for the long term, because I can't think of another way of getting competitive advantage in this world where we're run by tech bros. So, so from my point of view, I'm very hesitant on sharing the data because I think the experience is pretty good anyway. And with the exception of older lady images, oh my goodness. After Janice spoke at a different event and said she'd put some text in for an image generation for a lady in her 50s, and the image universally comes back with a lady in her 90s. And so there are some areas where maybe we should give it a bit more data, but I don't think one person's change is going to make a difference.
Cool. That's a very good point. Did you notice whenever you kind of said, Adobe, there was a little bit of a in the room, and then also that no one got their phones out to start opting out of things? So they're all fine with it.
Yeah, they're all fine with
it. Before we go to Ali, Rosie, just take them to you. So Amber's brought up Apple Intelligence. Have you any other kind of fun stories going on right now?
I'm pretty bullish on glasses. I've actually been thinking about this, and I've been counting in the room, and I'd say pretty much 50% of us in the room are currently wearing glasses, and probably a higher percentage use them occasionally, even if it's only for sunglasses, right? Even if it's not prescription. And when you look at what Apple is starting to achieve with their Vision Pro and the interactivity between what we recognize as a device, a phone, and the glasses, and what you see, what actually Apple had really great PR, but the Google glasses, the Ray-Bans, they've been around for quite some time. I just think if you didn't know a phone existed and you wanted to create that kind of connectivity between a human and the internet, you'd put it in their glasses if that was the first place you could go. Mm-hmm. Like the idea of putting it on a device. How many people have seen someone walk into a lamppost on the street? Because I have, like, more than once. I've got small children, they do it a lot, and they're not even on their phones. So I just think it would make so much sense, and technology seems to always shatter my expectations for the better. So I think that's where we're thinking about whether our technology has applications in that.
Cool. That's a good point. Ali, any interesting stories that you've kind of uncovered in the past month or so?
Yeah, if I look at current affairs in AI, AI is evolving with significant advancements. Like if you look at the generative AI, now we are able to produce images and sound. Mm-hmm. And I have heard about that Disney Plus and Paramount have used these things for their media and film industry. So with the change of, now we are capable of interacting with the system in our own language. Mm-hmm. So now anything is going to happen will be exciting.
Mm-hmm. Fair point. I think we are running very close to on time, so I'd like to get really practical really quickly. Ali, I'm going to come back to you. Just in terms of like signing off, what would your hope be of enough kind of armchair quarterbacking the AI journey? Like how can people really take it? Hello? Yeah, there we go. How can people really take it by the horns and run with AI? How can they get started?
I believe future cannot be predicted in months or years, but I see that if it's like evolving like that, AI started. So in future, I will be able to say to my personal assistant, like I need to buy clothes for my brother's wedding. So I will just say buy it, and it's gonna make the process to checkout and payments and make it delivered to my doorstep. Sure. So we will be looking at processing time as compared to the page speed loading time. Yeah.
Sure. Amber, coming to you. How can people get started? How can people take it a step further?
Yeah, I think, there's lots available, as we've discussed. So I think look at the tools in front of you and see what you can use. I think, as an e-commerce merchant, I would say, or a marketer, I would say, don't just focus on cost savings. I think that's a big mistake. Focus on what is going to make life better and easier for your customers. If you can do both, like Rosie's talking, then perfect. But, don't just focus on the cost savings. Always be thinking about what is going to make that experience better. And like I said, go watch Apple's video and just go and look at the things where sort of previously we might have said, I don't want to walk along talking at Siri. Now they've changed it, so maybe you can type to it, etc., etc. Like Apple is, and I hate to sound like an Apple fangirl, but it's a brand that knows about customer experiences, how to create amazing customer experiences. And so if you go look at what they've done, they're just small things, they're just small tweaks. But I think sort of look at the best and focus on creating the best experiences you can for your customers.
Fantastic. Rosie, same question.
I think there are two places I would think about it. I think the first is, I think that the next wave of AI means that you don't need to be so smart about your data. And if I think about e-commerce for the last 15 years, I went around a warehouse for a massive physical retailer in my previous role about 15 years ago. And I said, what's that over there? And they said, oh, that's the e-commerce store. And they literally set up the stock in the corner of the warehouse, and they fulfilled from there in the same way as they would if it had been a store, right? And so we've spent ages trying to get our data and our processes much more seamless. And I think that is, for many people, a boring but frustrating headache of really just getting their business fit for growth. And I actually think AI will let you cut corners on some of that, because it will let you interrogate unstructured pools of data in ways that you haven't been able to do before. So that's the first thing, is I do think there's an opportunity to not have to do quite so much cleaning up in order to do the growth. So that's my first point. And then my second point is when you're doing the growth, pick a problem and be imaginative, right? So pick a problem like my client did about their excess stock. Be imaginative. In his case, apply negotiated prices to it, which no one had ever done before. And of course, there's so many more examples about that. But of course, you do need to pick a problem. So you can't just look to all of those wonderful tools that are provided to you and then just use every single one. Pick your problem first. There will be a tool to deal with it.
Fantastic. So leverage your AI assistant as much as possible. Be imaginative, but pick a problem first of all, and do your research on the tools that are out there. So quickly, from my end, we're about to go on lunch, and I know you're not going to listen because you're really hungry. What I would say practically is write an AI policy for your business. If you do not have an AI policy, that's a great place to start. Put it in front of the board or the directors or whoever it is. Put that in front, get it agreed, go explore. That's the second point. Kind of with the experiment of who's using more than one LLM. The more you explore, the better experiences you have. I guarantee not many people has tried Claude. Phenomenal. Go experience the natural language processing on that. I can't even do it. It's hard. In terms of a call to action, I like to use the acronym WIN. So weave, integrate, and nurture. So you want to weave AI throughout your business. So anything that can automate. So, example that Rosie mentioned earlier is emails is just like the mundane stuff that you don't really want to do. If you can find, things like what we've said with Ali, if you can operationally think of workflows creatively, that's phenomenal. And then the last thing is nurture. So for example, once you've done these things, if the end user is, internally, if it's a member of staff, like, hey, go speak to that member of staff. Like, are they enjoying this? Are they not enjoying this? Why not? Gather feedback, repeat the cycle. If it's your actual customer, do the same thing. Anyway, that is us. We're out of time. You're now free to go and eat. And thank you very much for humoring us.